So it's time for a quick update. I got this siding cleaned, and while I was out here I went ahead and pressure washed this whole patio. It was covered with leaf and nasty leaf clutter. These are concrete steps that are going to be partially redone. Don't get dizzy walking up the stairs. And then the driveway, I don't know if you saw it before, but this is a ton of work done. It was piled up with leaves all the way through that corner, and every time they get too wet I just let them dry out a little while and redo it. This is a front lawn. It's finally starting to green up, and there's some brown here, but that's from where all the crabgrass is dying from me spraying it. Got the sprinkler out there going. This is the next bag store we're going to set up. The last one was hugely successful, the last two actually, so we're going to set this up out here to remove some stuff. And, well, yeah, you may not have seen this. Black shutters, black door, and light fixtures, just to kind of hold the look together until everything's done. So let's go inside. Alright, starting with the foyer. We had to replace all of this foyer subfloor and what was under it here. This is some of the subfloor that was pulled from upstairs. That's all the rest of the pile of OSB that I have. I think there's 10 or 11 sheets left, and I'm pretty sure we're going to use all of them. Most of this room didn't have to replace because it was replaced before a layer of that rollable foam stuff and the fake wood floor was put down. So it's mostly still brand new underneath. But we're going to go upstairs real quick. There's the tile that was just pulled out of the bathroom. I'm going to scrape the rest of that up and probably put a layer of plywood over it. So this bedroom had most of the subfloor, or about half the subfloor, taken out and replaced. This one over here, this is the second bedroom. It had brand new particle board subflooring put in before. You could see the remnants of, or the glue left over from carpet squares that were put down. That was done right before that carpet was put down. So we're gonna get by with that. And then I replaced some of the pieces that were just inexcusable. This is the third bedroom. This is where the old dog had most of its accidents. So all of it has been replaced, except this little strip here that seemed like it was pretty well covered the whole time I was here. Out here, the hallway, totally replaced. There's that tile again. And the stairs. Okay, so the kitchen. Kitchen is gonna have to be, well, I'm gonna totally redo the subfloor in here, which may end up with a lot of cabinet work too. The first layer of linoleum was put on top of a concrete backer board, and right here is a piece of plywood that was patched in years ago to fix a sag in the floor, and whoever did it did an awful job. And this is what was underneath the backer board. And it's also hideous, and it is stuck to, yes, a third layer of linoleum. And so this is going to have to come up, 2 layers at once. It's not been fun so far, but what I'm actually going to do is set my saw to stun. No, I'm going to set my circular saw to cut through both layers and then the first layer of subfloor and cut it into squares and then pull it all up. Well, that's going to be a project for a different day. Alright, here's Bagster number 3 for the whole house. Number 1 for this part of the project. These walls are folded down in half, so it's twice this tall, and so it's 4 foot wide, 8 foot long. If you've ever seen, a regular sheet of plywood, that's what you're looking at. And 2.5 feet tall, I think it is. So it'll hold a lot of junk. I've already started carrying a few small things in, and this all has to go, and then that pile, and I'm pretty darn sure that it's all going to fit pretty easily, and I'll have to find something else to put in it. But that's the project for tonight. I'll keep giving you updates as it's filled. So it's getting dark, and my other help finally got here, so we've been stacking boards up, and we've got it almost halfway full with a bunch of stuff, but it's packed tight. So oh yeah, you want to see the stack. Still got the scraps in here. I'm gonna throw some of them out. Here's what's left. Bunch of baseboards and molding. Yeah. Alright, so I've started pulling up more of the kitchen floor. Had to move the Christmas tree over. We actually have most of it done. What I did, the shop knife was a little bit too hard to do, so I took my circular saw and set it to, 1/16 of an inch, whatever, just to get it right through the linoleum layer so that it didn't cut the backer board up and throw dust everywhere. Worked magnificently, but I cut it in 2x2 tile, fake tile, whatever squares, and so they're kind of peeling off and the backer board's coming up in different pieces. I wish I knew and just measured, but whatever. It's coming up in large pieces, so we're actually almost done. In fact, David, you want to just pull that one so we can see how it works? In fact, just slowly pull it. You know how to do it. So I'm just having him slowly pull up while I take my pry bar and just work it up off of the floor. And then everywhere that there's not foam, it normally comes up in pretty big pieces. So there we go. That's all there is to it. We're just doing that. We'll be done with this soon. And let's see. This room over here is basically empty. A few scraps on the floor. Let's see here. The tile's coming up separately, but it tears easy enough. And then we're carrying it out, putting it in the bagster. We got a lot more in the bagster. We folded the walls up now. Let's see. We got another foot in some areas to go. So we got more space, more stuff to put in it. I just figured we might as well get the kitchen floor pulled up while we have the bagster out. But I think we're only going to get like the first layer of the kitchen floor. However, all of the first layer is a good deal. And then we have to pull up, well, I'm going to pull up everything else too. So Merry Christmas to me, woo! So we got the bagster mostly filled up. There's more room for stuff in it, but it'd just be stuffing stuff, and we'll probably find some. But like the scraps in here. But the second, the underlay or the half-inch plywood was really warped on one end, so we went ahead and pulled that up. So now we're looking into the crawl space. So I have the crawl space sealed off at the vents. Good vapor barrier put down. It's kind of looking trashy now because all the stuff that fell through. So I went ahead and pulled the insulation out from the floor here, and it looks like, I'll show you here real quick. It looks like the plywood on these sides is still fresh and good. I didn't cut that. I just pulled out the board that was beside it. So looks like that's still fresh. Whatever jackleg did this job ended up, I mean, there's cord around there, there's, I don't know what all was done here. This is the side that's bad. Right here we used to have the dishwasher. Right there was the refrigerator, and then there's a sink. So I think I'm gonna have to pull these cabinets out and pull that stretch of floor. You can see this is wet because I sprayed it with mold killer, but this was all moldy. So this is the crawl space, and that's the floor that's going to need to be fixed. Now what's great is that this section of the floor that I'm planning on stiffening up a little bit is right above part of this wall that can't really call it foundation. It just runs across the house and doesn't support anything, but I'm going to be able to just prop it up right on that. So that is going to be awesome. But again, thanks for watching. Just trying to give you an update.